Quinn. Ask what they still have to do upstairs.
No, it kind of does, yeah.
Brought to you by Wilson Transportation. For the Walla Suite, leading off the shortstop number 7, Connor Kovac. The third baseman number 6, Miles Hager. Batting third, the first baseman number 34, Nick Calamandera. Batting cleanup, the right fielder number 31, Kyle Dixon. Batting fifth, the second baseman number 2, Parker Cox. Batting sixth, the left fielder number 32, Kyle Mosher. Batting seventh, the designated hitter number 9, Juan Gomez. Batting eighth, the catcher number 8, Willie McIver. And batting ninth, the center fielder number 21, Dylan Luca. Starting pitcher for the Swedes, number 44, Cooper Powell. And now the starting lineup for your HarbourCats. Leading off the designated hitter from San Diego, number 37, Kevin Collard. Batting second and second baseman, number 21, Griffin Andrachuk. Batting third, the center fielder, number 30, A.J. Alcantara. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, number 26, Ben Kolchak. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 41, Jake Reed. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 14, Nick Meyer. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 20, Michael Gressler. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 5.
Sorry, it's okay. I've been filming you all day.
And batting ninth, the third baseman, number 25, Chase Lambert. Starting pitcher for your HarbourCats, number 34, Henry Omana. break down to our guy off the field. Here's Jim.
Is this thing on? There we go. Hey everybody, we got a little different situation here with the doubleheader, so just to let you know, we do have people that bought tickets directly for tonight's game with designated seats. Make sure you're sitting in the right seat, please. Probably too polite to let you know you might be sitting in the seat if you were here earlier, and then stay in the same seat, so please let's respect that. And I really appreciate everybody who's here tonight. Thank you very much for being here. Pretty exciting first game, though. Who was here and saw that? We'll do it again, what do we say? We have great sponsors. One of the great sponsors we have is tonight's game sponsor, Castle Building Centers. Just over in our neighborhood here, they got a location in Bay Street as well. They got a great big group here tonight having fun. Where are you guys? Beer garden, be aware where they are, okay? Just letting you know. And they did a draw to see who got to throw out the first pitch tonight. And Kale Ranencarry. Come on out here, Kale, let's go. Kale won the draw. He's been with them for 10 years. And everybody in that section over there is betting that he's going to throw it all the way to the screen right now. Kale, come on out and throw it. I like it. Castle Building Centers is a tremendous community sponsor. You're noticing the bases a little colorful today. They celebrate diversity in our neighborhood. They celebrate community in our neighborhood. They do a great job, and Kale's here to represent them. Thank you to Vicki and Jordan and everybody. Thank you very much for your support. Kale, show us what you got, kid. Kale, thank you, buddy. Mike, you're right. Thanks for coming on out. Castle Building Center, thank you very, very much. We're going to play ball. We did the anthems earlier today. We're going to go play ball. Thank you to Castle Building Centers. Let's go play some ball. HarbourCats, let's go get them.
Welcome back to Royal Athletic Park in Victoria, British Columbia, as we prepare for Game 2 of a 3-game set between the Victoria HarbourCats and the Walla Sweets. My name is Mike Walker, filling in for Jay Longpre this evening in the second game of our matchup, our Saturday doubleheader here at RAP. And in case you missed it, the HarbourCats win in walk-off fashion Game 1 of this 3-game series, a bizarre finish. An overthrow from the pitcher on an intentional walk attempt allows the runner to score from third, and the HarbourCats get 3 in the bottom of the 7th to pick up a 7-6 victory over the Walla Sweets. And for the Cats, that's win number 19 on the season as they improve to 19-21, and inch ever closer, now 7 games back of the final wild card spot. So on to game number 2 of this doubleheader matchup. Another 7 innings on tap this evening. Let's introduce you to the defensive starting lineup for the HarbourCats in game number 2. In left field will be Ben Paulchuk. The starting center fielder is AJ Alcantara. In right field is Jake Prees. The third baseman is Chase Lambert. At short is Scott Jarvis. Griffin Anderchuk, who's celebrating a birthday today, will start at second base, and Michael Gretler will round out the infield at first. The catcher is Nick Meyer, and on the mound for this one is Henry Omana. He will get the start for the HarbourCats this afternoon. We look at Omana's statistics. Through 7 appearances this year, he has 3 starts under his belt, 24 1/3 innings worked for Omana, and a .332 earned runs average in that time, with a 1-2 record on the year. And the right-hander will get another crack against Walla here this afternoon. The starting batting order for the visitors here in game 2 of our doubleheader: Connor Kopach will start things off at shortstop. The third baseman bats after him. That's Miles Hager. Then it's Nick Halamandaris, the first baseman, to bat third. Batting cleanup is Kyle Nixon. Then it's Parker Koss, the second baseman. After that, Kyle Dozier, the left fielder. Juan Gamez, the designated hitter, will bat seventh. Then Willie McIver and Dylan Muka will round out the batting order for Walla in game 2 this evening. A beautiful evening for baseball, but it is blustery at Royal Athletic Park as it's remained pretty warm throughout the afternoon. It was 19 degrees Celsius at start time for game 1. It's dipped to about 16 degrees Celsius here in Victoria. for the start of game 2 as we fall under 70 degrees Fahrenheit, about 68 for the first pitch in this one. And speaking of the first pitch, Henry Omana goes home and misses low and away to Connor Kopach for ball number 1 and a 1-0 count. So that heavy gusting wind, it was up to 30 kilometers an hour at the start time of game number 1, still looks to be about that here for game 2. Out to left center field and big billowy clouds up and over the ballpark, but we're hoping to stay dry through 7 innings of baseball this evening. That was not the case yesterday, which is why we're in a doubleheader scenario today. 2-0 count to home plate and Kopach, and he takes ball 3, and Omana right out of the gate has yet to locate the strike zone in this start for the Victoria HarbourCats. So it'll be Kopach, Hager, and Halamandaris in the first inning for Walla. And earlier today, they scored 2 runs in the top of the first inning, jumped out to a quick lead against the HarbourCats, which they eventually surrendered. Another highlight of the first game of this series, a grand slam from Victoria, as a swing and a miss will fill the count against Kopach at 3 balls, 2 strikes. That grand slam came from Austin Gabor in the 5th inning that gave Victoria a temporary lead, which they eventually got back in walk-off fashion in the 7th. 3 balls, 2 strikes, full count offering at home plate to Kopach, and he will take ball 4, a leadoff walk issued by Henry Omana. Kopach will take that, work his way down to first base, and that brings Miles Hager into the batter's box for the visitors. And worth noting, top of the first inning, first batter faced in our series opener this afternoon, Dylan Muka drew a walk. Later scored on a double from Miles Hager, so we'll see if he can duplicate that feat with Connor Kopach standing over at first base. First offering he sees is miss low for ball number 1. Hager, in our first game of the series, that was only his lone hit of that ball game, a double in the first, and then a ground out and a couple of strikeouts for Hager. And out from behind home plate, Nick Meyer, the Victoria catcher, wants to discuss the situation with Henry Omana, settle down his pitcher just a little bit. Hager came into the weekend hitting .238. It drops ever so slightly with a 1-for-4 in the first game of this set. 1-0 pitch to home plate. Hager will watch that as well. This time it's a called strike for a 1-1 count. There's a small afternoon crowd for game 1, which was a 4 p.m. start here in Victoria. Now it's more like our regular start time of 7 o'clock, and the crowd has filled out quite nicely here at Sports Traders Diamond. 1-1 pitch on the way from Walla, but first he decides to check the runner at first. Connor Kopach back in plenty of time. As Nick Halamandaris, the first baseman, patiently waits his turn in the on-deck circle. Hager in the batter's box for Walla. That one's inside, and up and ready to throw was Nick Meyer, but he didn't get the ball cleanly, and that will just be ball number 2 and a 2-1 count. A staying put over at first is Connor Kopach. So 14 games now remaining in the West Coast League season. The HarbourCats, 2 games under 500 after the win earlier today. Trying to keep pace on the wild card spot. They're well out of the race for the division title, which Bellingham will cruise to as they look to defend their West Coast League championship. 3-1 the count to Miles Hager. So the West Division out of reach. Bellingham's got that all but locked up, but Victoria is still very much in the conversation for the wild card. This one popped up to center field, fading back AJ Alcantara. He's got the catch, and there is one away in the top half of the first inning on the fly out from Miles Hager. So Halamandaris will step in, we'll take a peek at the standings. And this first inning, by the way, brought to you by Alex Burns and Associates, Island Investing made easy at VictoriaRealEstate.com. So Bellingham 26-14. And a full 7 games up on the HarbourCats in the West Division lead, but the Cats trying to reel in the Yakima Valley Pippins and these Walla Walla sweeps for that wild card spot. The Cats 2 games back of Yakima Valley. The Sweets now 1 game back of the division rival Pippins in a very tight wildcard race. Now a pickoff attempt as a runner caught in the rundown between first and second. Kopach trying to turn away from the shortstop, but he is tagged by Jarvis, and there are 2 away in the inning after a quick move from the pitcher. Henry Omana throws Kopach on the base paths, and he is caught stealing for our second out. So Halamandaris awaiting a first pitch, and now he's got nothing to work with on the base paths. 2 away in this first inning, and Victoria's defense is cued in already after a really messy end to the first game of this series. Called strike against Halamandaris. After that grand slam that blew the game wide open and gave Victoria the lead, it was just chaos all over the diamond. A number of key mistakes at key times that eventually cost the Sweets the ball game. 0-1 pitch as Somana goes into his motion to the left-handed batting Halamandaris, and he fouls at first base side. All the way down to the grandstand part of the seating here at Royal Athletic Park, and quickly Halamandaris, who did not play in the series opener, falls behind 0-2. Omana with a peer over the lip of his glove and then to home plate, but his fastball misses high and away for ball 1. And the count now 1-2. Nick Halamandaris from Monterey, California. He's a senior at UC Berkeley. 1-2 pitch to home plate. Halamandaris rung up on called strike 3 looking, and that'll end the frame after a leadoff walk. Henry Omana catches the base runner in between the paths and completes a 1-2-3 inning. And the HarbourCats head to the bats when we return. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. Dozier's in left field with Dylan Muka in center and Kyle Nixon in right. The third baseman is Miles Hager with Connor Kopach at shortstop. Parker Koss is in the lineup at second base, and Nick Halamandaris will play first for the Sweets today. Willie McIver is behind home plate, and Cooper Powell takes to the mound to start game number 2 of this series. And for Powell, an opportunity to even this set up after Walla Walla let the series opener slip away from them. For Powell, this is his 8th start of the season. He has a record of 0-3 and a .411 earns run against in 35 innings pitched on the mound. The batting order for Victoria: Kevin Collard will lead things off, followed by Griffin Anderchuk with AJ Alcantara batting third. Ben Paulshock, the left fielder, is in the cleanup position with Jake Prees batting fifth. Nick Meyer, the catcher, follows him. Then it's Michael Gretler, Scott Jarvis, and Chase Lambert, the starting batting lineup for Victoria. Starting lineups brought to you by Wilson's Transportation, the official carrier of the Victoria HarbourCats. So bottom half of 1. And Cooper Powell on the mound, Kevin Collard at the plate. A battle of lefties to start off the bottom half of the inning, and the first offering is ball number 1, blown away. And for Victoria, it was 4 innings with a combined 2 hits and no runs in the series opener until The grand slam from Austin Gabor sparked things. This one sent a mile high to the first base side. There's Halamandaris, and he's got an easy pop-up catch for out number 1 off the bat of Kevin Collard. It took a long time for the HarbourCats bats to get into the game, but when they did, they arrived with authority and earned them a 7-6 walk-off victory. So we'll see if they can get a little bit more of a jump here in Game 2 as Griffin Anderchuk steps into the batter's box, the Victoria second baseman, who earlier today ended up with a single and a walk and a hit by pitch. In fact, he was 1 for 2 and takes a first pitch strike for an 0-1 count. Powell, the left-handed starter for these Sweets, one of their busier pitchers on the season with 35 innings pitched. Second on the roster in that category, now offers a ball to Anderchuk, and the count is 1-1. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada, and is going to the University of Nevada in Reno. Another offering to Anderchuk. Ground ball to the third base side. Hager swallows that up, throws to first, and there are 2 away in the bottom of 1. So efficiency is the key so far for the Walla pitcher. In fact, same story could be said on the other side of the ball for Victoria starter Henry Omana. He faced the minimum 3 batters, and now AJ Alcantara is trying to spoil that. For Cooper Powell, the third batter of this first inning for Victoria, big swing on the first pitch, and he missed for an 0-1 count. Alcantara came into our first game of this series as a pinch hitter. He appeared in the 7th and was hit by a pitch, later scored as the game-tying run. De facto, though, he was pinched out with Reno Rankin coming in to run in the final frame. Another swing and a miss from Alcantara, and he's behind 0-2. And the third pitch here from Cooper Powell, well outside, trying to get Alcantara to chase, but he lays off, and number 30 will take another look. Victoria back in their home whites with blue trim, while the Sweets in their road grays. Another pitch well outside, and the count even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll see if Alcantara can extend the bottom half of the first now with a 2-2 count as Powell goes into his motion. This one sliced out of play. That'll end up over on Caledonia Street. And runs down the first base side of the ballpark here in Victoria as the count stays 2-2. Another offering on the way from the Walla starter, and this one swing, foul tip into the mitt. Did he hold on to it? No, it glanced out of his glove, and that's fortunate for AJ Alcantara. It would have been a strikeout there, but unable to squeeze it was William McIver behind home plate. So a bonus opportunity here for the Victoria outfielder. Alcantara in center for the second game of this set. Swing, and he fouled it off of his knee, and that's going to sting. Alcantara is going to have to walk that off. Looked like it caught him right on the top of the knee, and immediately the Victoria training staff out to take a look, along with HarbourCats manager Greg Merritt. Wants to make sure his center fielder's feeling okay, and it's not a comfortable place to get a ball right off the top of the knee, and he's going to require a moment to walk it off, especially when he could be required to run down a ball in center field any moment. He's going to walk all the way out to have a chat with the third base coach and make sure that he's feeling loose and comfortable. Nice show of sportsmanship from the Walla catcher and pitcher, William McIver and Cooper Powell, taking their time to return to home plate as well, giving Alcantara a few extra moments to collect himself. So we're reset at home plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Bottom of 1 in a scoreless ball game so far, and this time Alcantara has one blown right past him, a swing and a miss, and it's a strikeout for Cooper Powell. So far, 6 batters up, 6 batters down in Victoria. We're scoreless. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. We are on our way to inning number 2 at Sports Traders Diner, Royal Athletic Park. This frame brought to you by the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia. A gift to honor life and all its memories. For more information, visit alzheimerbc.org. Made possible by Lisco Irrigation and Landscaping. It's a scoreless game so far. In fact, we've seen the absolute minimum number of batters in this contest. 6 up, 6 down between the two sides. And as we move to inning number 2, it'll be Kyle Nixon, Parker Koss, and Kyle Dozier due up for the Walla Sweets against Victoria starting pitcher Henry Omana. And the first pitch he offers to Kyle Nixon is a called strike 1. 0-1 the count to the Walla right fielder, who did not see action in the series opener. And the second pitch he gets at home plate just misses outside, and that'll even things up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nixon, a product of Bakersfield, California. And the 1-1 pitch he gets at home plate also misses inside, and the count moves to 2 balls, 1 strike. And no sun out at Royal Athletic Park tonight, and with this wind blowing, it could be a cool evening after a foul ball evens the count at 2-2. Usually when it's windy and cloudy like this in Victoria, it gets pretty chilly down at field level. We'll see how that affects the fans, but working in their favor is the fact that we're only playing 7 innings in this contest tonight. 2-2 offering, watched wide again, and Nixon is patiently waited for this count to fill up at 3-2. Omana, 26 strikeouts. That's 3rd in the HarbourCats lineup this season, and he got a foul tip there. A glance of a glove away from making it strikeout number 27 on the season, but it will stay at 3-2, and Nixon will take a moment to step out of the batter's box. Mentioned Nixon from Bakersfield is going to the University of San Francisco. And he's leading off this second inning from the left-hand side of the plate, and he fouls another one off as this at-bat stretches to pitch number 7. And a good little battle emerging here to start off inning number 2. It's the heart of the lineup. You would expect Nixon to have some moxie at the plate. He's in the cleanup spot for the Sweets. 3-2 pitch to home, and Nixon watches ball number 4. Good at bat from the Walla right fielder. He'll take his place down at first base, and deja vu for Henry Omana, who started the first inning by surrendering a walk, but then caught Connor Kopach trying to steal second. And we'll find out momentarily just how aggressive the Sweets are going to be this time around. Omana's got a great pickoff move for a right-hander. It's not easy to fool the runner, but we've seen it already, and we've seen it in past games this season. First pitch to Parker Koss, fouled off. Strike number 1. Koss, a West Coast League All-Star this year from San Juan Capistrano, California. And he's awaiting his second pitch with just a moderate lead over at first from Kyle Nixon. And this one in the dirt, but knocked down by Nick Meyer, the catcher, as the count moves to 1-1. Koss hitting at a torrid pace this year, a .320 batting average. The only guy in the lineup more powerful than him, Nick Halamandaris, closed out the first inning with a strikeout. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, and a beauty drops in for a strike, and the count now 1-2. Koss leading the club, 39 hits this season, and 7 of those have been doubles, but hasn't been able to pick up a home run. 1 ball, 2 strikes, runner on first, and this one blown past him, and the 2 biggest threats in the Walla lineup thus far have struck out. Halamandaris down in the first, Koss down in the second, and there's one away in this inning. So Kyle Dozier steps his way into the batter's box, and while we have a moment, want to issue congratulations to the man who's normally in this booth, Jay Longpre, but he and the Victoria Eagles have advanced on to the BC PBL Provincial Championship Tournament, which will be here at Royal Athletic Park next weekend while the HarbourCats are on the road. So Jay and his coaching staff, congratulations for taking your team to the Final Four, and good luck next weekend at Provincials. That's the top level of high school aged baseball and pre-college baseball here in Canada. 1-0 pitch, called strike, and that evens things up to Kyle Dozier, who's now in the batter's box. Jay will be back in the broadcast booth tomorrow for Game 3 of this series, which is a 1 o'clock matinee. 1-1 the count, one away in the frame, and still parked over at first is Kyle Nixon after his leadoff walk, but Henry O'Mana right now focused on Kyle Dozier, despite that throw over to first, which is no threat. Dozier, the left fielder this afternoon, also did not appear in Game 1, so a fresh look outfield for the Sweets in the second game of the set. 1-1 pitch on the way from Walla. Runner breaks for second. They were anticipating it, but the throw off the mark from Nick Meyer. He was up right away, ready to try and gun out the runner, but his throw about 5-6 feet off the mark to the left of second base and counted as a stolen base for Kyle Nixon, who is our first runner into scoring position in the ballgame. 2-1 the count, and that gives Dozier an opportunity to cash in the opening run and get Walla Walla on the board. Stutter step off a second base from the runner, but a swing and a miss from Dozier will even the count at 2-2. And they're going to keep a close eye on Kyle Nixon here, who had no bones about making a break for second base. And so far this year, Nixon does have one stolen base. So not afraid to give it a go. 2-2 the count, and Henry O'Mana trying to rack up the second out in this inning, and O'Mana taking his time to make his mind up with catcher Nick Meyer relaying the signals. 2-2 pitch, just inside, and it's full to Dozier. Dozier, the left fielder, another one of the big hitting members of this Walla Walla team. 300 his batting average on the season, but he does have 18 strikeouts, third in the club. And hoping to avoid one here against Victoria's starter Henry O'Mana. 3 ball, 2 strikes, swing and a miss, and that is a strikeout as O'Mana already racking up his third K of the ball game, back-to-back against Koss and Dozier. In fact, he's got on all the big bats via the strikeout, and that brings Juan Gomez to the batter's box. An eventful series opener for Gomez. Had a couple of hits, scored a run, picked up an RBI, but then came in as the closer and threw the ball over the catcher's head during an intentional walk attempt, and that cost Walla Walla the game. So very much man of the hour, Juan Gomez, and he watches the first pitch, a breaking ball that floats in high for ball 1. He's the designated hitter once again. So a big lead off second base for Kyle Nixon. So far uncontested by the Victoria second baseman Griffin Anderchuk, with 2 away now in this frame. And the 1-0 pitch from O'Mana to home plate. There's the breaking ball, and Gomez turned around on it but couldn't connect, and it's even 1-1. That was a dangerous looking pitch. If Gomez got a piece of that, we could be talking about a 2-0 ball game. Just left it high in the zone, did O'Mana, and that was dangerous. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another offering to Gomez at home plate. He watches that, miss low, and 2-1. And we were cruising through the first 2 innings, and we have slowed right down to start the second, as this one settles in of a 7-inning second half of our doubleheader. 2 balls, 1 strike. O'Mana trying to close out the second. Swing and a miss. He's 1 strike closer, 2-2. So far, O'Mana's been doing it himself. a fly ball to center field. Aside from that, he has 3 strikeouts and has caught a runner stealing. It's been a solo effort from the Victoria starter so far, and the 2-2 pitch to Gomez. Check swing, ball bounces away from the catcher, but not enough to convince Kyle Nixon, the runner at second base, to go to third. Meyer got a big enough piece to keep it just at the fringe of the dirt behind home plate, and Nixon wasn't going to risk it. With 2 away in this inning and a chance for an RBI here. 3-2 the count. And Omana looks down the pipe for a full count offering to Juan Gomez. That breaking ball lined right to the third baseman and an easy catch for Chase Lambert to close out the top of 2. Still scoreless in Victoria. The HarbourCats in the Sweets. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. Bottom half inning number 2 at Sports Traders Diamond from Royal Athletic Park on the southern tip of Vancouver Island. Thanks for joining us for doubleheader baseball on this Saturday. We're into prime time in this West Coast League season. 14 games remaining on the schedule for both of these clubs, and lots to be decided as there's really still one big playoff spot up for grabs, and that is the wild card position. Both Walla Walla and Victoria right in the thick of contention. The Yakima in that chat as well, trying to stake a claim to a playoffs. Of course, Victoria still looking for their first postseason appearance in the West Coast League. And Ben Paulshuk is set to lead off inning number 2 for the HarbourCats in a scoreless contest so far. Paulshuk, Jake Prees, and Nick Meyer due up for the home team to face the Walla Walla starting pitcher Cooper Powell. And the second pitch from Paulshuk, to Paulshuk I should say, low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. And you know that this Victoria crowd would love to see a little postseason baseball in August. It's been a long time since playoff baseball has been at Royal Athletic Park, at least at the top level. 2-1 the count to Ben Paulshuk, and he'll watch the next offering as well for a called strike, and it's 2-2. HarbourCats have yet to make the postseason. Victoria Seals, in their 2 years in this facility, did not make the playoffs. Before that, the Victoria Capitals, the league didn't make it to the playoffs before it folded. This ball blasted out to right field. It lands at the base of the warning track, and Paulshuk's going to go for 3, and he will do so no problem at all. Big round of applause from the crowd here in Victoria as Paulshuk dropped it on the warning track in the deepest part of the park, and then got on his horse and didn't even really need to slide into third, but he did so for a nice touch anyway, and a triple to lead off this inning. What a start, and what potential here for Victoria in the second. So Jake Prees will step into the batter's box, but by my count, you have to go back to the 1960s to find high-level playoff baseball at Royal Athletic Park. That one, first offering, plunks Prees right on the outside of the leg, and that's hit by pitch. He'll take his way down to first. So 2 runners on for Victoria, nobody out in the second. Hard to believe a city like this has not had postseason baseball in that long. There's been plenty of good players, major league guys that have come out of this city, but Mike Saunders jumps to mind right away. Steve Sinclair, in that time since, played for the Toronto Blue Jays as well. There's been a handful of guys who have emerged as major league ball players out of Victoria, but just haven't had it for the home fans to enjoy. First offering now to Nick Meyer, misses high, ball 1. And you can bet this park would be rocking if the HarbourCats can find their way to grab a wild card spot and take a run at a West Coast League championship in 2015. Didn't look like it early in the year. The HarbourCats had a tough start, but then won 9 in a row, and that turned everything around here in the month of July. 1-0 pitch, fouled off the bat of Nick Meyer, and the count even at 1-1. Runners on the corners for Meyer here. Ben Paulshock, a leadoff triple in the inning. Jake Prees hit by a pitch a moment ago. But now the Cats right in the thick of things. 2 games under 500. A win tonight, a win tomorrow, and they're suddenly 2 games out of a wild card spot and right in the middle of the action. 1-1 pitch. That one misses high and away. Ball 2. And we'll see here how Cooper Powell intends to work out of a bit of a jam here with Victoria, looking to keep their offense rolling from game 1 of this series when they posted 7 runs, which has been somewhat of a rarity this year for them to find that offensive spark. It's been a lot of runs, but they've been a lot of spread out runs. Victoria now has 210 runs this year, 3rd in the West Coast League. Pitch misses high and away to Nick Meyer. 3 balls, 1 strike, and a hitter's count to the Victoria catcher, with 1 in scoring position, and Jake Prees anxious to get there. Meyer's going to take the sign and get a read on what the play is here. Wonder if Prees is going to maybe break for second on a 3-1 count. Here's the offering, runner stays, and that is ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Nobody out in this inning, and a hit by pitch followed by the walk issued to Nick Meyer has put Cooper Powell in a bit of a tough spot here in the second. Of course, both times the bases have been loaded today in game 1 of the series, it didn't turn out well for Walla. The first time it was a grand slam from Austin Gabor. The second time, Victoria turned the bases loaded into a walk-off victory. Let's see what the third time has to offer, with Michael Gretler stepping into the batter's box. His first appearance of the day. Gretler did not play in game 1 of the series. And Gretler, with a .209 batting average on the year, takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Gretler, not necessarily a big offense guy, is without a double, but does have 1 home run. But he has been walked 19 times. Here's a member of the HarbourCats who sees the ball well, and right now location's been the issue for Cooper Powell. The 1-0 pitch watched for a called strike, and the count's even 1-1. That fastball on the outside portion of the plate, but most definitely in the strike zone. Paulshock at third, Prees at second, Meyer at first, and bases juiced for Michael Gretler with no one out in the bottom half of the second inning. 1-1 pitch, high and away, ball 2. If Gretler can advance, then Scott Jarvis will step into the batter's box. Jarvis 0 for 2 earlier today. But something's got to give here with the bases loaded. And the Sweets still looking for their first out of this inning. 2-1 pitch. This one skied to right field, but that's going to drift well out of play. And even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Good energy in the ballpark for the evening game. The afternoon first half of the doubleheader was pretty quiet as the crowd was just sort of filtering in throughout the afternoon, but now it's a positive atmosphere, and Gretler can add an exclamation point to that here in the second inning. 2-2 count, bases loaded, pitch watched by Gretler, ball 3, and now something's really gotta give, and a full count pitch due up next. We made a comment in the first game about getting early offense and how important it can be in a 7-inning game. Well, Victoria saved all their offense for the end of game 1, and it still worked out. Can they strike first in game 2? Gretler pops this up. It's in foul territory. Kyle Nixon's on the run, but he's got no chance as that lands in the bullpen out of play. Fans applaud a nice catch from one of the kids down there. And it's another 3-2 pitch to Gretler. And in this scenario, if it's anywhere near the strike zone, Gretler, more than anything, should look for contact and just get the ball in play here with 3 runners on, lots to work with. Full count pitch. Gretler swings, drives it to right field. On the run is Kyle Nixon. He's there from the catch. Tagging for third is Ben Paulshuk. He's going to go home, and the runner trying to go to second is busted as everyone tried to advance on the deep fly ball, but tagged on the foot was Nick Meyer, and that will be 2 away in this inning, but Victoria is on the board on the sacrifice fly from Michael Gretler. So Paulshuk comes home, and getting a little bit greedy, hoping to advance to second is Nick Meyer, but he is busted for the second out on the assist from the center fielder. And now Jarvis digs into the batter's box, a runner just at third now, and he fouls the first pitch back for strike 1. 2 away, runner at third, 1-0 Victoria after the sacrifice fly from Michael Gretler. And all things considered, that's not a bad deal for the starting pitcher, Cooper Powell, who a moment ago had the bases loaded, nobody out. Jarvis teases a bunt and then pulls it back, but takes strike 2 regardless. And it remains 0-2. And can Jarvis extend this inning and drive home another run for the HarbourCats here in the second? The 0-2 pitch, no he can't. A swing and a miss at an outside offering, but the sacrifice fly after the leadoff walk, or the leadoff triple I should say, from Ben Paulshuk, and the HarbourCats take a 1-0 lead through 2 innings of play in Victoria. This is HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We got 8 on your marks, get set, go. We're going to go around second base all around with a first base. All right, and we got ourselves a winner.
Why do you close it when I get it? Oh, yeah.
Inning number 3 at Sports Traders Diamond in Moreland Athletic Park. And speaking of Sports Traders, they are sponsoring inning number 3, and they carry everything from yoga mats and athletic wear for the whole family to inline skates. Visit them at 608 Discovery Street in Victoria. 1-0 HarbourCats the score, and back atop the mound for this inning is Henry Omana, and he gets the first batter for Walla to pop up. Willie McIver fouls that off for strike 1 and an 0-1 count. McIver, a new addition to the lineup from game 1 to game 2 for the Sweets as well, as the second pitch misses low and away for a ball. McIver, a catcher out of Pleasant Hill, California, and he's a freshman at the University of Washington. The 1-1 pitch he gets from Henry Omana, swung on third base side, just out of the reach of the third baseman Chase Lambert. That's going to go all the way to the Walla bullpen, and it's a stand-up double to lead things off for Willie McIver here in the third. So Victoria gets the triple to open up the second and converts that into a run. Now the Sweets respond with a double from McIver to lead off inning number 3. And that will bring Dylan Muka to the batter's box. He did play in the series opener. Muka led things off last frame around. He was 0 for 3, but did score on the leadoff walk in game 1 of the series. First pitch he sees, shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike regardless, and McIver ready to move from second base if Muka's able to drop one down the third base line. The lights just clicking on now here in Victoria as the cloud cover is kept at a dark afternoon for the most part. 0-1 pitch from Omana, another bunt shown, another strike taken, and the count now 0-2, and that significantly limits the options for Dylan Muka. Connor Kopak due up third in this frame, watches from the on-deck circle. As the wind continues to blow out to left center field here at Royal Athletic Park, Omana checks the runner and goes home on an 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's strikeout number 4 for Henry Omana. And the first out here in this third inning. So back to the top of the order for the visitors. Kopak, the shortstop, digs in. Takes his signals from the third base side here, hoping to capitalize on that leadoff double from Willie McIver. And Omana, who's had a pretty good start so far, that McIver hit, the lone hit of the ballgame for Walla here into inning number 3. First pitch he goes with is a swing and a miss, strike 1 for Kopak. As the ball popped out of the glove of the catcher, Nick Meyer. But no harm, no foul, and a dead ball. Just a tip off the bat from Kopak. 0-1 the count, and again Omana will come set the Victoria right-hander into his motion to home plate, and the 0-1 pitch misses high and away, and it's now 1-1. So the HarbourCats, well aware of the fact that if they can get rolling late in the season, this is a team that can get rolling. We saw them win 9 in a row to start the month of July, and then promptly drop 4 of 5 against their division rivals Bellingham, which pretty much ended the West Division lead race. Latest pitch misses again, 2-1 to Kopak. But now that the schedule against the Bells is out of the way, if Victoria can get a little momentum going. Right now, the wild card with 14 games to go is anyone's guess. 2-1 pitch to Kopak from Omana, swing and a miss, strike 2, and he's got another one on the brink looking for his 5th strikeout of this game already, and the K counter up and working in the right field grandstand for the fans here in Victoria. And we'll see if Omana can punch up another here to the leadoff batter for the Sweets, Connor Kopak. Runner's caught at second as he came off early, but there was no one there to receive the throw. The runner broke, Willie McIver, and he had time to scramble all the way back on the early break before Griffin Anderchuk was able to get to second, and Henry Omana knew there was no chance to pick him off on the throw. Now he's going to take another big lead. Anderchuk's ready this time, but it's a swing and a miss from Kopak, and back-to-back strikeouts, 4 and 5 on the day. There are 2 away here in the third inning. So Hager digs into the batter's box, gets a round of encouragement from some Walla fans who have made the trip up to Victoria for this weekend series. In fact, for the Swedes and really for everybody, that rain out yesterday was a bit of a bonus, especially the guys who attended the All-Star game in Bellingham, who really didn't get much of a day off this week at all. A bonus Friday night off was, I'm sure, well accepted by both the Swedes and the HarbourCats, and a breaking ball is a called strike on the first pitch to Hager, who is 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field in his first plate appearance. Another healthy lead up at second base for McIver, but with 2 away in this frame, Omana has the luxury of focusing on the batter, and Hager watches another breaking ball, fouls that right off toward the Swedes dugout, and knocks a couple of bats out of their standing position, and the count now to 0-2. And it's really been a similar setup from Omana. Go with the breaking ball for a couple to get the batter behind and then try and blow a fastball by him. We'll see if Omana goes right back to the heater in an 0-2 count against Hager, or if he keeps the off-speed pitch at work. Timeout called at the plate. Hager's going to make the pitcher reconsider. And the 0-2 pitch on the way now, and this one's popped up and out of play to leave the count 0 balls, 2 strikes, and Kyle Nixon will have to retreat back to second base as he got a good breakaway on contact. 1-0 HarbourCats lead, top of the 3rd inning, and right now their starter, Henry Omana, is looking to strike out the side for 6 Ks in 3 innings of work. 0-2 pitch on the way again. This one foul tip, that close to another K, but it sticks in the fence behind home plate. One of the fans is trying to pull it through to the dismay of the ball boy. Now the ball boy's got to go collect it as they poke it through the other side. 0-2 the count. And Hager's done a nice job to hang in with 2 straight foul balls after quickly falling behind Henry Omana in 0-2. Another offering on the way from the Victoria right-hander after a check of the runner. Swing and a miss. 6 Ks already for Omana. And he is stymied the Swedes early. It's 1-0 Victoria. We'll be back to HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
That's pretty good.
Okay, Maurice, you're up. Straight. This, that's the tail. Right. I psyched you out. Yeah, you did. Where's Ben?
Leading off for your HarbourCats, the 3rd baseman from Pepperdine, number 25, Chase Lambert.
Bottom half of inning number 3 on deck in Victoria. Thanks for tuning in this evening for a little doubleheader action at Royal Athletic Park. My name is Mike Walker, pinch hitting for Jay Longpre for this first 2 games of the only games of the season series between Walla and Victoria. And the HarbourCats have a 1-0 lead and go back to work in the bottom of inning number 3, and Chase Lambert will lead things off, the third baseman for the Cats, batting 9th in the lineup. He takes ball number 1. It'll be Lambert followed by Collard and Andrzejczyk in this frame, and now the count 2-0 to the first batter for Victoria against Cooper Powell. But so far in this game, the star of the show is the HarbourCats starter, 6 strikeouts in 3 innings of work. Called strike against Lambert, who now moves to a 2-1 count, has a couple of quick words for the umpire. And another 2-1 movement popped out of play off the bat of Lambert, and that'll even things up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's been a little bit up and down on the other side for Cooper Powell. He's issued 1 walk, given up a triple, but that's the only offense surrendered so far. The 2-2 offering on the way from the Walla lefty, and this one is driven high into left field, but he's underneath of it, and Dylan Muka has a line on the ball, an easy catch. The fly out to center field is out number 1 in the bottom half of the 3rd. So back to the top of the lineup now for Victoria. Kevin Collard into the batter's box, and he sent a little pop fly over to the first baseman to lead off the first inning of play this evening, and he's got a second look now at Cooper Powell. And a left-handed batter, left-handed pitcher showdown once more. This one breaks outside, but catches just a corner of the strike zone for strike number 1. Collard will dig right back in, the Victoria designated hitter for the second offering. Got a piece, but not enough, and it's strike 2. He's quickly behind the Walla pitcher. And Collard is a native of Vista, California, and attends the University of San Diego, a freshman this year. 0-2 pitch off the end of his bat, and that's just enough to stay alive as that drifts off into the parking lot. I still can't figure out who parks in that parking lot that is just behind the third baseline of Victoria, but it's got to be the worst parking spot in the city for that very reason on the foul ball. Another one flubbed, this one over toward the Walla dugout. None of the guys there able to make a catch, and the count remains at 0-2. So well behind here is Kevin Collard, and a couple of loose swings just to stay alive in this at-bat against Cooper Powell. The 0-2 offering to home plate. This one swung on, popped up again, this time in play, and the shortstop, Connor Kopak, is on it. He had to go way back into left field, but makes the catch for out number 2. That wind playing havoc there with Connor Kopak is what started at the edge of the grass, ended up about 40 feet back into left center field as he carried the ball with the wind and makes the catch. So 2 away, bottom of 3, and nothing going here for Victoria in this frame. Hoping to change that, Griffin Andrzejczyk, the HarbourCats second baseman, who does have a birthday hit under his belt, got a single in the series opener, and is trying to add to that total here in Game 2 of our doubleheader. First pitch he sees, outside, ball 1, 1-0. Andrzejczyk, the fleet of foot second baseman, popped out of play, and that will even the count at 1-1. And Andrzejczyk steps out, takes a look down the line. His parents are in the crowd as always, and what's unusual is many of the HarbourCats family and friends in the building tonight. 1-1 pitch to home plate. Andrzejczyk swing and a miss. He's behind 1-2. And Powell has settled down nicely here in his third inning of work. Forced a couple of pop-ups and now has Andrzejczyk on the brink of sending this game to inning number 4. 1-2 pitch on the way from Powell to home, and Anderchuk pops this up as well, first base side, but the catcher back to make her go at things, and that ends up well out of play onto the walkway around the exterior of Royal Athletic Park, leaving the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Series finale between these two due up tomorrow, a 1:05 start from Royal Athletic. And hoping that it stays dry here in Victoria, where it's been a threat of rain all weekend. 1-2 pitch to Andrechuk, swing and a miss. He couldn't catch up with that one. And out number 3, it's a 1-2-3 frame for for Cooper Powell on the mound. And we head to the 4th, 1-0, the HarbourCats lead. This is HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
All right, guys, we're rolling down the third baseline, and yet again, for the belt and half, throw for $500 cash. We got Andrew. One shot, try to get it in the hole, Andrew.
No start! It's impossible! That's all you're doing in the baseball! Oh!
A little low. Good try. That is the belt and half. They have the best two teams in Victoria.
One more!
Kidsport is a local not-for-profit organization whose goal is to ensure that kids who might not otherwise be able to access the youth sports can do so. Shield Harvey will donate $35 to Kidsport for every home game strikeout by a HarbourCats pitcher this season. Watch the board here in section 10. Thank you. Shield Harvey.
We are on to inning number 4 at Royal Athletic Park. It remains a 1-0 Victoria lead in a stingy second game of this series so far. Just 1 hit apiece in this 1-0 ball game. And as we head to the top half of the 4th, it's the heart of the order for Walla Walla. Nick Halamandaris will lead things off with Kyle Nixon and Parker Koss due up. This is the slugging heart of the lineup for the Sweets. A called first strike is the early offering here. But all of these guys racking up big numbers, all of them hitting at least 300 so far this year. Now it's 1-1 at the dish to Halamandaris. But the Victoria pitcher, Henry Omana, has been dialed in so far. 6 strikeouts to his name as Halamandaris turned on that one but fouled it off and is now behind 1-2. 6 strikeouts in 3 innings of work. That's efficiency on the mound from the Victoria starter. Halamandaris digs back in again. The left-handed batter with that distinct advantage on the right-handed pitcher, and the 1-2 offering this time around, swung on, popped up, third base side, going to be a tough ball, but the shortstop Jarvis fades back and has the catch for out number 1. This 4th inning of play brought to you by Wilson's Transportation with over 90 vehicles to rent. They are the official carrier of the Victoria HarbourCats, and in just a bit we'll have your West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard, which gets more and more important as this season wears on. Now into the batter's box, Kyle Nixon. First pitch he'll see is outside for ball 1 in a 1-0 count. Nixon drew a walk to lead off the second inning, but was stranded at second base in that frame. His bats couldn't help him out. One of two runners left on base by Walla Walla in this one. Fouls the latest pitch back. 1 ball, 1 strike at home. And Nixon tied for the team lead with 2 home runs this year. And has got the wind at his back. 1-1 pitch. Fouls another one off. Strike 2. And the key offensive moments save for the error to close out game 1 of this series. We're off the long ball, a grand slam for Victoria. A 2-run shot the other way for Walla Walla. We'll see if the home run factors into game 2. 1-2 pitch on the way as Omana goes into his motion. Just outside, couldn't frame up strike 3, and that evens the count at home plate. And once again, Nixon will dig his way into the batter's box, trying to avoid becoming the second out in this inning and another victim of Henry Omana. 2-2 pitch to home plate, fouled back. He just got enough of it on a big hack on an inside fastball, it looked like, from the Victoria starter. New batch of baseballs from the bat boy to home plate umpire. A lot of foul balls early in this game as guys just trying to stay alive against some hot pitching in a quiet contest through 3 complete. This one hard hit to the second baseman, diving stab by Andrechuk, and he's got the out. An excellent little play from the second baseman out of Nanaimo, and instead of receiving the birthday presents, he's given them out this evening with a great little defensive play to hold a hit off the board for his pitcher, Henry Omana. It's a 4-3 ground out against Kyle Nixon, and Parker Koss will step into the batter's box with 2 away in the top of the 4th. First pitch from Omana to home plate, bounces in the dirt for ball 1. What a great read from Andrechuk. Knew he had to get back on that ball to have enough time to possibly make a play, and made his stab right at the edge of the grass. 1-0 pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop. Jarvis eats it up, throws to first, and that'll complete inning number 4. It's been stellar so far from the Victoria defense. 1-0 the score. We'll be back with HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
All right, fans, congratulations to Margaret McCormick. She has won a $25 gift certificate. She was paid to Margaret McCormick to join that prize on the first base conference of the baseball league. All right, I am down here with Marina. She's the team captain of Team Walla here from Walla to conquer cancer. This is going to be higher responsibility with Marina. And I'm going to word to the final start of the
We are on our way to the bottom half of inning number 4 at Royal Athletic Park in Victoria. It remains a 1-0 Victoria lead by the narrowest of margins, 1 hit apiece as we go to the bottom of the 4th. And it's the heart of the Victoria lineup. Stepping into the batter's box, AJ Alcantara, Ben Paulshak, and Jake Prees due up here in the 4th. And in this frame, we'll take a look at the West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Sports Traders. Drive into summer with savings on a wide selection of new and used golf equipment. Visit Sports Traders at 608 Discovery Street. Check swing and a called strike to AJ Alcantara. The first base umpire says he did go around on the first pitch from Cooper Powell. And the second offering on the way to the Victoria's batter, called strike on a breaking ball, and he's behind 0-2. Of course, the first game of the day already complete here in Victoria, a 7-6 walk-off victory for the HarbourCats over these Sweets, which is now in game 2 of this series, as Alcantara pops one up to center field. There to receive it is Dylan Muka, and there's 1 away in this inning. Elsewhere tonight, bottom of the 6th inning, the Kelowna Falcons leading the Bend Elks 2-1. Battle of two of the top teams in the league there. The Medford Rogues up 7-4 over the Bellingham Bells. The Klamath Falls Gems on home turf trailing the Corvallis Knights 3-1. The Kitsap Blue Jackets up 5-0 over the Cowlitz Black Bears in one game that HarbourCats and Walla Walla Sweets fans are watching. Yakima Valley, the current wild card leader in Wenatchee. It's tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 5th. And here in Victoria, it's 1-0 HarbourCats over the Sweets. Called strike on the first pitch to Ben Paulshuk, who's now into the batter's box after a walk in the second inning that led to the lone run of this game. The 0-1 pitch he gets here, swing and a miss, wasn't even close on that offering, and he's behind 0-2. It's been an efficient second half of this doubleheader so far. We've been playing for just about an hour as we're now clocked into the bottom of the 4th inning. 0-2 offering on the way from the left-handed Walla Walla pitcher. That breaking ball misses outside for ball 1. Not a bad place to try and get Paulshuk chasing. But he restrained, held back, and takes the ball. 1-2 offering on the way as again Powell goes into his motion. Paulshuk watches another high pitch, and it's 2-2. With Prees, the right fielder, looking on. The 2-2 offering to home plate, dropped into right center field. This is going to be a bloop single for Paulshuk, and there's the second hit of the game for the Victoria HarbourCats, as Paulshuk will take that one off the end of the bat, nothing wrong with that, and work his way over to first base, and that brings Prees to the dish. And Prees, hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance, now digs in with a runner on, and an opportunity here to extend this 1-0 Victoria lead. First offering as the runner breaks for second. A good jump from Paulshuk. The throw not in time as Paulshuk's there with a stolen base. So Paulshuk works his way into scoring position and doesn't waste any time doing it, jumping on the first opportunity. That's stolen base number 5 on the season for Paulshuk. It's one thing Victoria never hesitant to do, steal a base. They're amongst the league leaders. 66 on the season now for the HarbourCats. 1-0 pitch. That one drops in for a strike and evens the count to Jake Prees. Third in the West Coast League are the HarbourCats with those 66 stolen bases. Nothing like manufacturing offense with a bit of small ball, and that may be the way this game is won in a 1-0 contest. 1-1 pitch to home plate. Prees watches that, and it's called strike again for a 1-2 count with one away here in the bottom of the 4th. So Prees will take a moment to step out and collect himself. Healthy lead at Paulshuk at second base, but the Swedes haven't been too concerned with holding him on, at least not yet. 1-2 offering to home plate. This is a ground ball. Chance to get through the middle. It's corralled by the second baseman. A turn, a throw, and Parker Koss makes an excellent play. Great defense by the second baseman on either side of the ball. Griffin Anderchuk in the top half of this inning, and now Parker Koss with a turnaround play, getting all the way in behind second base and gunning the runner out at first for the second out in this frame. Meantime, Paulshuk advances over to third. So Nick Meyer now steps into the batter's box, 2 away in this frame, but he does have a chance to drive home a run and make it 2-0 in favor of the home side. Cooper Powell's first offering is a high fastball for ball 1. Powell drew a walk in his first plate appearance, but then was caught in between first and second and retired in the second inning of play. 1-0 pitch to him, called strike. So even up to the batter at home plate, Nick Meyer. And do the Cats have another run in them? At this stage, it feels like it could be a big one to add a bit of insurance here in the 4th inning of a 7-inning contest. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, not low enough, it misses high, and the count is now 2-1. Waiting to step into the batter's box is Michael Gretler. He's watching from the on-deck circle, hoping that Meyer can continue this 4th inning for the home side. Just 3 hits between the two teams so far. 2-1 pitch to the plate, outside, 3-1. So Meyer now with a hitter's count behind him. And the Mission Vale, California product will try and win this little battle in a hitter's count. 3-1 offering due up from Cooper Powell, and this time it's high and outside for ball 4, and that counts as a win for Nick Meyer. He takes the base on balls. So now runners on the corners as the aforementioned Michael Gretler digs in beside home plate, the right-handed batter up against the left-handed pitcher. Victoria's first baseman, a sacrifice fly in his first plate appearance, and he's got the lone RBI of the ball game so far. And a great chance for another one right here. A second look at Cooper Powell, who just issued his second walk of the game. And this time the first pitch to Gretler misses low and away, ball 1. Want to remind you, we've got a trivia question coming up for you in the next inning. You always have a Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia trivia question in the 5th, so look forward to that. 1-0 pitch on the way to Gretler. Runners on the corners, 2 away, bottom of 4, trying to extend the Victoria lead, and he will do just that with a rope into left field. That will easily cash Ben Paulshak from third, and an RBI single for Michael Gretler. That's his second RBI of the evening to make it 2-0 HarbourCats. So Meyer up to second base on that base hit from Gretler, and Scott Jarvis will stride into the batter's box, still looking for his first hit of the day. He was 0 in the doubleheader, in the first leg of the doubleheader, I should say. But now with a 2-0 lead behind him, he's got a runner at first and a runner at second, and a little bit of familiarity with Cooper Powell after a strikeout in his first plate appearance, and he fouls off the first offering for strike 1. So far this season for Jarvis, the batting average has been there. He's just in a bit of a funk. 288 on the year is his average. But strikeouts number 13 and 14 on the season today. Looking for hit number 20 of the summer is Scott Jarvis, and on an 0-1 offering from Cooper Powell, he will watch it miss low for ball 1. So 1-1 the count at home plate. Both runners for Victoria taking healthy leads, and the Sweets, who need just 1 out to get out of this frame, not paying much attention. Jarvis right in the middle of the batter's box as Powell comes set on the mound for Walla. The 1-1 pitch to home plate misses low again, an identical offering. And Jarvis avoids both of them for a 2-1 count. Now Jarvis steps out, takes a sign from the third base coach, and has an opportunity to decide his method of approach here with 2 away in this 4th inning. And a 2-1 pitch. Now on the way from the Sweets left-hander, this time watched again. It's a called strike. Looked a bit outside, and Jarvis thought he should have got the call, but instead, we're even at 2-2. Very deliberate pace from Cooper Powell atop the mound here, especially in this inning when runners are on and opportunities for Victoria to cash in. Another set of signs from the HarbourCats third base coach. And this Victoria crowd, an opportunity to cheer with a run in the bottom of the 4th inning on an RBI base hit from Michael Gretler, looking for a little bit more here from Scott Jarvis in the batter's box. 2-2 offering, but instead Powell will step off. He had no one to throw to on the base paths, but will chase the runners back regardless. And now another 2-2 offering. Set for the batter at home plate, the Victoria shortstop, Jarvis, swings on this but fouls it straight back to stay alive. Victoria, in case you missed it earlier today, won the series opener in a 7-inning walk-off in the most bizarre of circumstances. It was supposed to be an intentional walk with runners at second and third to load the bases and set up a double play opportunity, but the pitcher, the closer, threw the ball over the catcher's head on an intentional walk, giving Victoria a 7-6 walk-off win. 2-2 pitch to Jarvis, called strike 3. Jarvis knew he was frozen on that one, and that will end the bottom of the 4th, but Victoria adds a run and an RBI base hit from Michael Gretler. It's 2-0 heading to the 5th. This is HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We got double trouble for Misty. 2 runners to race Harvey, the people from the mascot race. We got Ryder,
Just a little bit. Oh, that's an interesting one. Ripken Jr. is the famous one. Yeah.
And looks loose, it's Lindbergh. On your marks, get set, go.
Garrett Anderson. Freedom 55 Financial. Freedom now, freedom tomorrow. Advice that works for you. And leading off this frame is Kyle Dozier as he takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. It's Dozier followed by Juan Gomez and Willie McIver in this frame for the Walla Sweets. Looking to get on the board, trailing 2-0 to the Victoria HarbourCats. A swing and a miss to Dozier, evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Dozier, a strikeout, one of 6 victims so far for the Victoria starting pitcher, Henry Omana. The 1-1 pitch outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. In fact, he had 6 strikeouts through his first 3 innings, but then let his fielders get into the game in the 4th. A fly out and a couple of ground outs, and now Greg Merritt has come out and he wants to have a chat. And it looks like Omana might be done here. And I think Henry Omana's evening is over. I'm not sure if he took a stumble on that last pitch, but right away he knew he was done, and there's action in the bullpen, and that'll be it for Henry Omana. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings of work. He gives up just 1 hit, but an abrupt exit for Henry Omana and some concern from his teammates down in the dugout. A high 5 on his way by, and hopefully everything is okay for Henry Omana. A bit of a surprise change here, and we've got a pitching change. And Greg Merritt just clarifying with the coaching staff that this is an emergency situation, it appears, as the Swedes had some questions about why the abrupt change, but I think it might be an injury scenario. especially with a mid at bat. That's typically an uncouth change. But into the game here is Josh Walker, number 18. We thought he might get some work in game one of this series, but the HarbourCats stuck with Sean Kennedy, and now Walker will make an appearance here in game two of this doubleheader. So while we give Walker an opportunity to warm up on the mound, let's introduce you to the Chino Hills, California product, a sophomore at Grand Canyon University. So far this year, Walker has appeared in 14 games, 24 2/3 innings. He's given up 9 earned runs in that period, but 29 strikeouts. That puts him third in the HarbourCats stat sheet. A 3.28 ERA. It's been a solid year for the right-hander. And he comes into this game abruptly in the top half of the 5th inning in place for Henry Omana, who otherwise was stellar, and leaves this game right now in a position for the win through 4 complete. As mentioned, 6 strikeouts for Omana. He gives up just the lone hit and surrenders merely 2 walks in his time on the mound. And again, we're hoping that this change, well, it could be one of 2 things, I suppose. It could be an injury scenario, but the other thing is it could be a pitch count situation, especially with the NCAA season now just around the corner. That both would explain an abrupt exit from the ballgame. But either way, the evening is over for Omana, and into the fold is Josh Walker on the mound for Victoria, trying to pick up exactly where his teammate left off in what has been an absolutely stellar performance so far. And the count now 2-1 to Kyle Dozier here with nobody out in the top of the 5th inning. Dozier, the leadoff batter in this frame. The pitch count thing would be strange for a guy to come out and throw 3 pitches and leave the game, so I'm inclined to believe that it is an injury scenario for Omana, and hopefully nothing serious. First pitch from Walker is a strike, and the count 2-2. And another offering to Dozier at home plate. This one fouled straight back to leave the count exactly the same. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, to recap, it's Dozier, Juan Gomez, and Willie McIver due up 1-2-3 here in the top half of the 5th inning, with the HarbourCats up 2-0 over the Walla Sweets, who have been stuck to just 1 hit to this point in the ballgame. That latest offering inside Dozier, ball 3 and a full count. Nothing like being thrown into the fire for Josh Walker here in the middle of an airtight contest. 3-2 pitch to home plate. Dozier pops it up. This is going to be trouble. Coming in is the left fielder, and it will drop in front of Ben Paulchuk, then gets past him. The runner goes for second, but he is safe. It looked like he was going to be dead on arrival, and immediately out of the dugout is Greg Merritt to argue the call. But I think in this case, the umpires got it right. It didn't look like the tag was applied. It looked like Dozier was able to get under and safely into second base without incident. And I would imagine that'll be ruled as a single and an error to the left fielder. The base hit to Dozier, but then advancing on an E7 as that ball went right under the glove of Ben Paulchuk in left. So the argument ends quickly from Greg Merritt. Runner to second is Dozier, and Omana leaves this game surrendering 1 hit through 4 innings, and a bloop single spoils that. As now a ground ball sent to second base. Anderchuk is there, and he'll throw over to first to retire Juan Gomez, who is out on just 1 pitch, a 4-3 ground out, but that does allow Kyle Dozier to stride over to third base. So the first run of the game now in sacrifice fly territory for the Walla Sweets, and Willie McIver will step into the batter's box. He hit a double in his first plate appearance, got a lot on it too. Doesn't need quite that to get the runner home, but I'm sure he'll take any contact here against Josh Walker. First pitch bounces in the dirt, but the runner stays at third, and it's ball one. So Dozier reaches on a single, advances to second on an error to the left fielder on an overrun, and now to third on the ground ball from Juan Gomez. McIver in the batter's box, and the 1-0 pitch he swings at, gets a tiny piece of, and chips it back into the netting for a 1-1 count. McIver trying to put the visitors on the board here in the top half of inning number 5 and make this game tighter than it already is at a 2-0 margin. 1-1 pitch to home plate, breaking ball to the shortstop. In is Jarvis, scoops it up, throws to first, and he will get the out, but coming home for the opening run for Walla Walla is Kyle Dozier, and the ground out will be good enough for an RBI from Willie McIver to make it 2-1 now with 2 away in the top of the 5th. Not much that Jarvis could do there. He had a long way to go to get to the ball and had to commit to the out at first base or risk getting nothing at all. So 2 away in the frame, and that run cashes in, and we'll remind you that on the hook for that run is Josh Walker. He came in to take over that at bat with a count 2-1. Called strike, and that will start the at bat to Dylan Muka. Muka 0 for 1 with a strikeout in his first plate appearance. Now with the base paths clear with 1 run in and 2 away. That one bounces away from the catcher. The ball evens things up, 1 ball, 1 strike. And Muka, the Walla Walla center fielder, hoping to extend this inning a little further and perhaps put the Sweets into a tie game scenario. 1-1 pitch to home plate. Inside, but called strike regardless. Nice placement there from Josh Walker to jump ahead 1-2. And again, Walker will go into motion. 1-2 pitch. This is a ground ball. Hard charging second baseman Anderchuk gets the play, throws to first, but throws it away. And it's a dead ball as that one went into the stands, and the umpire rules that that hit a fan, which will also give the runner a chance to advance up to second base. And again, we'll have to see if this is going to be a straight error on the throwaway, or will Muka get a single. It has been ruled a base hit. No, it's been ruled probably both, a hit and an error. That is the case to move the runner over. Anderchuk had a tough play and is charged with the error. And while we have a moment here, with Connor Kopak stepping into the batter's box, it's time for our Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia trivia question. It's a rising tide of dementia in BC, but there is hope if we act now. Learn more at alzheimerbc.org. Our question today: how many players in the major leagues hit a home run in the All-Star game the same year they won the Home Run Derby? How many players have won the Derby and then gone on to hit a home run in the All-Star game? We'll have your answer in the bottom half of the inning. Here's a hard hit ball to left field from Kopak, but it's right into the glove of Ben Paulchuk. He read it well and retires the side. 1 in the top of the 5th for Walla Walla. It's a 2-1 game. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television at HarbourCats.com.
Her name is Ashley.
half of inning number 5 we go at Royal Athletic Park. My name is Mike Walker, pinch hitting for Jay Longpre for games 1 and 2 of this series between the Walla Sweets and the Victoria HarbourCats. But Jay will be back for game 3 of the set tomorrow at 1:05. So if you can't be here at the ballpark, join us for a go-live broadcast presentation of this matchup between Victoria and Walla, and the baseball only gets better from here on out with 14 games remaining in the West Coast League season. Still lots to be decided, including the wild card spot, with both of these clubs right in the thick of that race as it stands. But tonight, it is a 2-1 Victoria lead in the bottom half of inning number 5, and back atop the mound, the starter for Walla, Cooper Powell, gets a foul ball off the bat of Chase Lambert to lead off this inning. Lambert is the 9-hole batter for Victoria, with Kevin Collard and Griffin Anderchuk due up here in the 5th frame for the HarbourCats, who scored once in the 2nd, once in the 4th, but surrendered a run. Here's a bunt single attempt, and what a jump and what a base hit from Chase Lambert. He dropped that down to perfection about 10 feet down the 3rd baseline and was off like a shot. The Sweets weren't ready for it, and that's a bunt single if I've ever seen one. Executed perfectly, and Lambert has got himself on base with a leadoff hit, the 4th of the game for Victoria. So back to the top of the order, and Kevin Collard, and the HarbourCats surrendered the lone run of the game just moments ago in the top of the 5th, so we'll see if they can earn that right back in the bottom half of this frame. And the first pitch on the way from Cooper Powell. This one skied out to right field on the run. Kyle Nixon reels it in. He had a long way to go to make that catch, but registers out number 1 here in the 5th inning, as Collard just missed that, a couple of millimeters away from a home run on the sweet spot of the bat, that's for sure. But instead, it's 1 away in this inning, and I think we've got a mound visit coming up, and it looks like we've got a pitching change on the way. That'll do it for Cooper Powell on the hill, and Joe Demers is going to make his way in from the left field bullpen. As a couple of pats on the back for Cooper Powell as he wraps up this appearance, and the line score looks like this: 4 1/3 for Cooper Powell. He gives up 4 hits and 2 runs, and the Walla faithful give him a round of applause coming off the field. So with Powell out of this game, in comes Demers, a freshman at the University of Washington from Pleasant Hill, California. Demers, a right-handed pitcher, and so far this year he's appeared in 10 games for Walla, 26 2/3 innings pitched. He's actually started 3 of those contests, but his record 1-1. And the ERA overall for Demers this season, pretty stingy, 2.36. He will step into action here in the bottom half of the 5th inning for the Sweets, and try and take over for a pretty solid 4 1/3 by his predecessor, Cooper Powell. Powell finishes this game with 4 strikeouts, issuing 3 walks and, as mentioned, 4 hits. So after the fly ball, still a runner on for Victoria, and Chase Lambert is that man. He led off this inning with a single. But Griffin Anderchuk is on his way to the batter's box at 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout so far today for the Nanaimo native. And now we'll get a look at what the bullpen has to offer. Demers, a hard-throwing right-hander, and he's a big-statured guy, 6'2", 230 pounds. In fact, him and Nick Halamanderis, the first baseman, the heaviest guys in the lineup. Big bodies deliver a lot of power for these Walla Sweets, and we'll see if Demers can pick up where Cooper Powell left off. So Demers has completed his warm-up pitches and is ready to go on the mound. While we have a moment, let's answer our trivia question. How many players in the major leagues hit a home run in the All-Star game the same year they hit a home run in the home run derby and won it. Same year they won the home run derby, they went on, got an all-star game blast as well as the runner breaks for second here. The throw from the catcher into center field, but unable to advance on that miscue is Chase Lambert. He'll take the stolen base alone. Once again, our trivia question for the Alzheimer's Society of BC. How many players hit a home run in the All-Star game the same year they won the home run derby? Their answer is 3. Cal Ripken Jr. in 1991. Frank Thomas did it in 1995, and Garrett Anderson in 2003. All modern era accomplishments since that home run derby came into part of the All-Star game festivities. 3 players have done it. Pretty impressive feat to take the energy and the power of the home run derby. I mean, that's an exhausting event, and then go on and hit another bomb in the All-Star game after. Our trivia question brought to you by the Alzheimer's Society of BC. Your support provides confidence, offers compassion, creates friendship, and gives hope. Visit them at alzheimerbc.org. 1-1 the count at home plate, and taking a look at that as Griffin Anderchuk as the count now moves to 2 balls and 1 strike. Up at second base is Chase Lambert after his stolen base. And a sliver of sunlight cuts across the ballpark as the sun sets off to the third base side here in Victoria. No sunlight on the field itself, but on the trees off in the background, making for a nice sunset moments away, I'm sure. 2-1 the count as Demers comes set on the mound. Another offering on the way to Griffin Anderchuk, and this time Anderchuk swings and misses for strike 2. Only playing 7 innings here in the second half of our doubleheader. Victoria took the first half by a 7-6 margin, a walk-off victory. And here in the bottom of 5, there's not a whole lot of room left to move for either side in a 1-run ball game. 2-2 pitch from Demers to Anderchuk. He just fouled that one off. Knew he didn't have much of a chance to turn on a breaking ball that was sliding away from him. We got the end of the bat on it to stay alive in the batter's box at 2-2. 4 hits in total for Victoria in the second half of this doubleheader. They had 9 in the first half. 2-2 pitch again from Demers to Anderchuk. Maybe not false alarm as Demers will step off and look Chase Lambert back to second base. 1 away in this inning, so a good opportunity here for Victoria to manufacture another run. A hit here from Anderchuk if it gets through the infield, certainly enough to score the speedy Lambert. 2-2 pitch on the way now, and Anderchuk will bloop this over the second baseman's head. Coming up gunning is the right fielder, and held at third is Lambert. It was shallow enough that Kyle Nixon was able to get there and hold the runner at third base. As quick as Lambert is, I think he would have been toast at the plate, so not a bad call there. And the bloop single from Anderchuk, his second hit of the day, first of this game, now puts runners on the corners. And that will bring A.J. Alcantara to the dish. The Victoria center fielder 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a flyout to center field, but that fly ball to center field, he didn't miss by much. Hit it to the deepest part of the park. And with runners at first and third and 1 away in this inning, we'll see what tricks Victoria has up their sleeve. We'll see if Anderchuk gets a green light over at first base. Offering to Alcantara off the tip of the glove, and coming home is Lambert, and that makes it 3-1. That'll be a pass ball charged against Willie McIver as it glanced off the outside of his glove, and charging home is Chase Lambert. And the HarbourCats get their run right back, and Anderchuk also jumped on that opportunity and advanced up to second base. So once again, the 2-run advantage is restored for Victoria. And now a runner in scoring position again for A.J. Alcantara. 1-0 pitch. Chopper up the middle of the infield. Will it get through? Here's the shortstop, Kopak, and he'll record the out as Anderchuk advances to third. So a 6-3 ground out for Alcantara and 2 away in this inning. And it sounds like they've scored that scoring play as a wild pitch as opposed to a pass ball, although I could have sworn it hit the catcher's glove on a ball not too far outside the zone, but we'll go with the official ruling here. So the 3-1 lead, a wild pitch charged against Joe Demers. And now Ben Paulchuk steps into the batter's box with Anderchuk on the third base side, and Paulchuk, a walk and a single, has scored twice in this game, responsible for 2 of the 3 Victoria runs, and hoping to continue his bottom half of the 5th inning as he watches the first pitch sail across the plate. 2 away in the bottom half of 5 here. And the Walla Walla pitcher, Joe Demers, goes into his motion for a second offering to Paulchuk, and this time a called strike. And it's 0-2, a couple of called strikes now against Paulchuk. And he wasn't all that happy about the second one either. Stomp of the foot. You better believe Demers is going to try that same spot again with back-to-back called strikes. Healthy lead for Anderchuk at third, and the 0-2 pitch on the way, and that one drifts outside for ball 1. Demers tried a slider, hoping to get Paulchuk reaching for one outside the zone. 1-2 pitch on the way with 2 away in the bottom half of the 5th inning, and here's the pitch. This one just over the head of the pitcher. In is the second baseman, Parker Koss, and he makes another nice play to end inning number 5, but it's 3-1 in favor of the Victoria HarbourCats. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
All right, man, it is time for Disney Bash. Looks like we got a couple people from the building lines here. We'll get a little bit busy. We've got Eric and we've got Kevin. Who's there? That's good. That's good. All right, here we go. Head down, Nolan. My mark, get set, spin. I got a feeling these guys have already been in the air for the game to start. Oh, thank you, man. I don't even know if I can get around
It just gets worse and worse.
How's your face over there? Are you
leading off for the team, the third baseman, number 6, Miles Hager.
We're off to the top half of inning number 6 in Victoria. Thanks for joining us for this Go Live broadcast presentation of HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. My name is Mike Walker, subbing in for Jay Longpre for these first 2 games of a set between Walla Walla and Victoria. Important games in the postseason chase here in the West Coast League. The HarbourCats 7 games out of top spot, but also trying to reel in the wild card position, one that the Sweets find themselves 1 game back of, and this pitch is hammered out to center field off the bat of Miles Hager. It is right at the fence. It bounced at the base of the wall, and Hager didn't miss a straightaway center field home run by much. Instead, he'll take a stand-up double to lead off inning number 6. So the Sweets got 1 run in the top of the 5th inning. The HarbourCats answered with 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and now Walla Walla has their second run of the game in scoring position to lead things off in this 6th inning, and Nick Halamandaris will step into the batter's box. Halamandaris so far 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop out to the shortstop. And the left-handed batter will watch the first offering, a heater right down the middle for strike number 1. And the Victoria reliever, Josh Walker, settling in here on the mound, but there is movement in the bullpen in right field side for Victoria as Walker sends another bullet home. This one misses low, and the count's even at 1-1. Top half of the 6th inning, and another reminder in this double-header scenario, we're only playing 7. The HarbourCats walked off with a victory in the bottom of 7 earlier this evening. Now they're trying to nurse this 3-1 lead all the way to the finish line. But the Sweets have something to say about that. 1-1 pitch. Halamandaris, a ground ball, hopped up on Griffin Anderchak, and that's swallowed up for out number 3. And actually, it's been a bit defensive change. That's no longer Anderchak at second base. Over there now for Victoria is Alex Degodi, and he registers the out for a 1 away in this inning as the runner, Miles Hager, moves over to third base on that ground ball. So 1 away here in the frame. And we'll try and track down the rest of the defensive changes. Not sure if Anderchuk made his way over to third. It doesn't appear so. Now at third for the HarbourCats is Gretler. So from first to third goes Gretler. As now into home plate is Kyle Nixon with a runner 90 feet away. 1-1 the count from Josh Walker. So far in this game, Nixon a walk and a ground out. But he's got a gaudy batting average, and he's now due, hitting nearly 300 for the season, a swing and a miss just behind that latest pitch, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Coming into this game, Nixon hitting .286. And looking for the second run of the game here with 1 away. A sacrifice fly will do, but Nixon hoping, I'm sure, to join his partner on the base paths. Hager at third base, swing and a miss, and Nixon is down on strikes, and he pounds his bat into the dirt by home plate as out number 2 in the inning. And now Victoria's got an opportunity to get out of this 6th frame without surrendering a run at all, despite the leadoff double. So Parker Koss now steps to home plate, still with Hager at third, but 2 away in the top half of the 6th, and the first pitch to home plate, a breaking ball that misses low for ball 1. Walker came into this game abruptly for Henry Omana in the 5th. Or rather the 4th inning. Omana got 3 pitches in as a beautiful curveball drops in for strike 1 to even the count. Gave up a run right away in relief to Josh Walker, but he's locked it down now, trying to avoid scoring this runner at third. The 1-1 pitch misses outside to Parker Koss, and the count now 2-1, and that prompts Nick Meyer, the catcher, to trot out from behind home plate. He wants to talk things over. Alex Degodi comes in from second base, and he's going to chat things over. Jarvis remains at shortstop, so Degodi went from trying to track down the defensive changes here for Victoria. Degodi into the game, perhaps for Griffin Anderchuk. Another miss there to Victoria, and the count now 2-2. And that would explain Gretler to third. 3-1 count on the way. This one misses low, and it is ball 4, so a free pass to Parker Koss, and he'll go up to first base, and that's the game-tying run there. If the Walla Walla Sweets can continue a 2-out rally here, trailing by 2, but now runners on the corners, with Kyle Dozier stepping into the batter's box, and the HarbourCats looking over to their bench for a few signs, and it looks like we got a mound visit upcoming as Mike Chupoy is going to make his way out to the mound and wants to discuss this scenario here with his entire infield, and not sure we're going to get a change just yet, or if Victoria is going to give Josh Walker an opportunity to work out of this inning as the base runners and batter confer in front of the Walla Walla dugout. The HarbourCats chat things over on the mound, just a brief conversation. And they appear to know the game plan. So Walker will stay in this ball game on the mound for now with 2 away here in the top of the 6th inning, but I would imagine this is his last batter if it doesn't go well. To complete the defensive changes, it's now PJ Floyd over at first base for Victoria. So Floyd at first, Alex Degodi at second, Jarvis remains at shortstop, and Michael Gretler completes the infield shuffle here in the 6th inning for Greg Merritt. First offering to Kyle Dozier at home plate, misses low, ball 1. It's Parker Koss at first after a walk, and Miles Hager up to second base after a leadoff double and advancing on a ground ball. 2 away, top half of the 6th, and the HarbourCats leading 3-1. A pickoff attempt as Walker stepped toward third and then cut back to first, but neither runner falls for the gag. And the count remains 1-0, and a second offering on the way now to Dozier, batting from the left-hand side. He fouled that one off of his own foot. It's a dead ball, and the count's even 1 ball, 1 strike. Dozier's going to take a moment to walk that off. And all of a sudden, the hit's up to 5 for Victoria, now 4 for the Walla Walla Sweets. In what started as a very defensive affair, it's now loosened up a little bit as both teams try and spark their offense with just 2 innings left to play. One pitch. Walker takes a long look at Dozier at home plate, trying to find the third out of this 6th inning, but that fastball is in the dirt, and it's ball 2. So 2-1 to Kyle Dozier, who had a single in his last plate appearance and later scored the only run of the game for Walla Walla. He pops this up third base side, but this will just be a very tall strike as it glances off the bleachers and evens the count at 2-2. The 6th inning of play brought to you by Alex Burns and Associates, Island Investing made easy at VictoriaRealEstate.com. One of the many partners of the Victoria HarbourCats, and they've got the Hit It Here sign in left center field out by the scoreboard here at Royal Athletic Park. 2-2 pitch to Dozier at home plate, and he laces this one into right field. They will drop in and score a run. Jake Prees will reel it in and toss it into the infield, but that's an RBI base hit for Kyle Dozier, and we are right back to a 1-run ball game here in Victoria. Dozier scores Miles Hager from third, and Hager's leadoff double cashes in, and that will be the end of the ball game for Josh Walker as the HarbourCats turn their attention out to the bullpen. So not the result that the home team and the home fans were looking for as Walker pounds his mitt on his way off the diamond, and he's on the hook for 2 runs and 4 hits
on his performance today. And we'll see who the relief out of the pen is for Greg Merritt and the Victoria HarbourCats, with now runners at first and second and two away in this top half of the sixth inning. We'll take a look at the West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard while we have a moment. Earlier today was Victoria over Walla 7-6 in the first half of our doubleheader. Now, elsewhere, lots of games in the thick of things. The Kelowna Falcons leading 7-1 over the Bend Elks in the bottom of 8. The Medford Rogues up 16-4 over Bellingham in the 7th inning of play. Kitsap 7-2 leaders over Cowlitz in the 8th. In the 9th frame, Corvallis still leading on the road in Klamath Falls 5-3. And the Wenatchee Apple Sox now 4-2 leading the Yakima Valley Pippins in the top of the 9th. If Yakima Valley loses that game, a window of opportunity here for either Walla Walla or Victoria to gain a game in the wild card chase. And of course, the score here at Royal Athletic Park is 3-1 in the 6th inning. And the bullpen call for Victoria brings Austin Dondonville to the mound. And he will step in relief here in the 6th frame, and he is the expertise kind of guy out of the bullpen for Greg Merritt and the HarbourCats. 37 innings pitched in now his 10th appearance for the HarbourCats. He's given up just 9 earned runs for a 2.17 ERA. He also has 29 strikeouts, and if Dominic Tapuzian is the starter of choice for Greg Merritt, well, then Austin Dondonville is the reliever that he turns to most often. And we'll see if Dondonville can lock things down here in the 6th inning, with the HarbourCats now protecting just a 1-run lead. So Dondonville has completed his warm-up on the mound. And his first opponent at the dish will be Juan Gomez, the designated hitter. First offering to Gomez, a breaking ball outside for ball 1. The infield scenario has Parker Koss at second base and Kyle Dozier at first after his RBI base hit just a moment ago. 5 hits apiece, but a 3-2 Victoria lead here in the 6th, and the 1-0 pitch to Dondonville. Same offering, but it breaks outside once more for ball 2. And Dondonville takes a moment to step off the mound, adjust his cap, and recompose here. The Walnut Creek, California native trying to navigate his HarbourCats out of trouble. 2-0 pitch to home plate from Dondonville, swing and a miss. He was way ahead of Juan Gomez there, who could not catch up to the fastball, and it's 2-1. The Sweets looking for a key hit at the key time. The HarbourCats hoping Dondonville can end the 6th and send them back to home plate in just a few moments. And the 2-1 pitch now on the way from the right-handed reliever, and this one called strike 2. That gets a rise out of the remaining fans here at Royal Athletic Park, most of them hanging in as the wind has calmed down a little bit but continues to blow on a chilly night just outside of downtown Victoria. 2-2 pitch again as Dondonville comes set, trying to close out the top of the 6th, and the breaking ball's a grounder to the third base side. Gretler flips to second, and that'll end the top half of the inning. The Sweets get 1, but they strand a pair. It's 3-2 in favor of the HarbourCats. This is HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We are on our way to the bottom half of inning number 6 at Royal Athletic Park here in Victoria. Welcome back to Sports Traders Diamond. My name is Mike Walker, in for Jay Longpray for games 1 and 2 of this set between the Victoria HarbourCats and Walla Sweets. The Cats took game 1 in the bottom of the 7th by a 1-run margin. Well, they're in a similar scenario again here in the bottom of 6 in game 2, up 3-2 over the Walla Sweets, and hoping to gain a little ground on the Yakima Valley Pippins for the wild card spot, and also gain a bit of ground on these Sweets as well. As we go to the bottom half of number 6, Joe Demers back on the mound for the visitors, and leading things off for Victoria is Jake Prees, the UCLA product and right fielder for the HarbourCats. 0 for 1 in the game with a hit by pitch and a ground out ahead of this count 1-0, and now he rips one down the third baseline, and this is going to be an easy double for Jake Prees as it goes all the way to the wall, and just the kind of start Victoria was looking for in inning number 6. Prees got every ounce of that baseball and sent it all the way to the wall in left field, his first hit of the ball game. And he's up at second base to cue up Nick Meyer on his way to the batter's box. And it is the final at Paul Thomas Field in Wenatchee. The Yakima Valley Pippins dropped their game against the Apple Sox. So a great opportunity here for Victoria or Walla to gain a game on the wild card race. So after the double, Prees stands at second base. Now Nick Meyer in the batter's box. He's drawn 2 walks in this game. Shows bunt, but pulls it back for ball number 1. And it appears the HarbourCats, with a 1-run lead, not throwing any tools out of the box here, being willing to play a little bit of small ball to perhaps advance Prees over to third and set up a sacrifice fly opportunity here in the bottom of 6. If things play out the way they want to, this could be their last opportunity to add offense in this inning. This is a bunt right back to the pitcher. Chance for the play at third, and they get the runner. And there's going to be an argument from Jake Prees with the umpire, thinking that, well, certainly the ball was there before the runner, but Prees is not going to win the argument. I'm not sure what his conflict was, but either way, he's out number 1 in this inning, and the bunt doesn't play out as planned for Victoria. Nick Meyer reaches on a fielder's choice. Prees is retired, advancing to the third, and there's one away here in the bottom of 6. And that'll be scored as a 1-5 putout to retire Prees after his double, which goes for naught here, but don't rule out Nick Meyer stretching out his fielder's choice into a stolen base and back to scoring position. He jumps right away. Will he get there in time? The throw is picture perfect. And how about the defense from Walla? Getting the runner at third and then picking off the stolen base attempt. Myers caught stealing, and that's 2 excellent defensive plays in a row for 2 away here in the 6th inning. So opportunity squandered a bit here by Victoria, and now Michael Gretler stands in with 1 ball, 2 away in this inning, and nobody on base. Second pitch he sees, misses low, ball 2. And Joe Demers, the Walla pitcher, is going to have a few thank yous to hand out if he can retire the batter and quickly get out of this 6th inning. 2-0 the offering to Gretler at home plate. He watches this miss high, and Demers falls behind 3-0 now.
with Scott Jarvis due up next for the HarbourCats. And again, what they are hoping is their final trip to home plate this evening with an opportunity to close out what is now a 1-run lead in the 7th. Called strike as Gretler half thought about making his way down to first on a walk, but quickly realized he'll stick in for another pitch at least. And with the count 3-1, Demers takes a long look at home plate, and the hitter's count offering is a called strike 2. Fans not necessarily in agreement with the home plate umpire, but either way, Demers has worked his way back to a full count with Gretler and an opportunity to close out the 6th frame right here with one pitch. 3-2 offering to home plate, and Gretler will watch this be ball number 4. So a walk drawn by Gretler with 2 away in this inning, and a bit of opportunity here for Victoria to start something with a late frame rally. And Scott Jarvis on his way to home plate. Although it has not been a productive day for Jarvis. 2 strikeouts here in game 2. 2 strikeouts in game 1. Has not reached the base path yet, but can change that here with one well-timed swing, and he watches the first offering called strike. It looked a bit high and outside, but when you're not getting the calls, you're not getting the calls, and Jarvis falls quickly behind Joe Demers. A conservative lead from Michael Gretler at first. And an 0-1 pitch on tap to Jarvis. He'll swing and miss this one. The throw back to first, not in time. And now Jarvis is behind 0-2 and risking his 5th strikeout of the day between games 1 and game 2 of this series. And we'll remind you that Jarvis came into this game with just 11 strikeouts on the year. It could be 5 today if he can't work his way out of trouble. 0-2 count with 2 away, bottom of 6. Runner goes. Jarvis pops this up in foul territory, but out of play. And almost a catch from a fan, but the little guy next to him will collect the ball regardless. And Jarvis stays alive for at least another pitch. And Jarvis will step out, take the sign. Not a bad idea to send the runner here. Never knowing what you're going to get with 2 away in the inning, and when you need a little run production in a close game. We'll see if Gretler makes another break for second base like he did moments ago. 0-2 count. Demers tries the pickoff, thinking exactly the same thing we are in the booth. And Gretler's back in time. See if Jarvis can break out of his Saturday slump here and continue this frame. 0-2 the count. And Demers goes home. Ground ball, third base side, scooped up. And throw to first is there to retire the 6th inning of play. It's 3-2 HarbourCats. They are 3 outs away from winning this series over Walla. But will the Sweets have something left in the 7th? This is HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We're off to the top half of inning number 7. The Victoria HarbourCats needing 3 outs to close out a doubleheader sweep of the Walla Sweets here on this Saturday afternoon from Royal Athletic Park, with the series finale set for tomorrow afternoon, a 1:05 start here from Sports Traders Diamond. My name is Mike Walker. Jay Longpre will be back in the booth for you tomorrow, but for now it's the HarbourCats trying to pick up 2 straight victories and inch ever closer toward the wild card position. And out for another inning of work is Austin Dondonville on the mound, and he will face in this frame Willie McIver, Dylan Muka, and Connor Kopak. 8, 9, and 1 in the order. And he throws 2 straight fastball strikes to quickly work ahead of Willie McIver, 0-1 and 0-2. So far in this game, 5 hits for Walla, 2 runs. The HarbourCats have 6 hits and 3 runs in this 7-inning affair. 0-2 pitch from Dondonville to home, just inside on a check swing from McIver, but the count now moves to 1-2. McIver had a double in his first plate appearance of the day, grounded out in his second trip to home plate. And we've got a 1-2 offering on the way as the Victoria right-hander Dondonville goes into his motion. This one in off the hands and fouled out of play by McIver to leave the count at 1-2. McIver takes a trip around the batter's box to think things over. And the Pleasant Hill, California native steps right back in. 1-2 the count with nobody out. The leadoff batter here in the 7th. High outside, ball 2. So 2-2 the count. And we'll see if Dondonville can start this inning with an out, while McIver looks to open things up as the game-tying base runner, but he takes ball 3 and gets himself into just the position he was hoping to. So McIvered a full count in the 7th inning. It's not my best work, but we'll take it at the end of a doubleheader day. 3-2 pitch on the way from Dondonville. That is ball 4, and that is your game-tying run. So McIver goes down to first base. And now the thought for the HarbourCats has to be ground ball. Try and turn 2 here. I believe we've got a pinch runner coming into the ball game for the Sweets. And it looks like Alex McKenna is drawing into the game to run at first. So McIver did his job in drawing the walk, and now Dylan Muka will also be pinch hit for. And, oh no, check that. It is Dylan Muka. My apologies, into the batter's box. And we'll see if it's small ball or if it's swing away here. I assume Muka will drop into a bunt. He does just that, sends it right back to the pitcher. Chance for a double play here. The throw to second is good. The relay, double play. The HarbourCats turn 2 on a bunt attempt, and there are 2 away in the top of 7. A great little turn from Austin Dondonville, the pitcher, and then over came the shortstop Scott Jarvis to turn 2, and that quashes the Walla rally here in the top of 7. A double play ball. And now it's Connor Kopak as the last line of defense. 1-6-3, the double play scoring. And Dondonville refocuses for a first pitch. Ground ball, first base side, bobbled a little bit, but touching first and completing the game is PJ Floyd. The HarbourCats back-to-back victors for a Saturday sweep of the Walla Sweets. They can go for the series sweep tomorrow. A 1:05 start. The final this evening, 3-2. and a couple of airtight games against an East Division foe for the HarbourCats. But they pull it out in the end. Let's recap this game for you. Victoria opening the scoring in the bottom half of inning number 2, thanks to a leadoff triple from Ben Paulschak that eventually came home on a sacrifice fly from Michael Gretler to make it a 1-0 contest. They doubled that advantage in the 4th when Ben Paulschak again reached base with a single and later cashed in thanks to an RBI base hit again from Michael Gretler. 2 RBIs for Gretler to get the offense going, and it was 2-0 Victoria. Now Walla came back with a run in the top half of the 5th inning, but again the HarbourCats answer. A leadoff single from Chase Lambert, cashed in on a base hit RBI from Griffin Anderchuk. And the HarbourCats into the driver's seat 3-1. The Sweets would cash in on a double from Miles Hager in the top of the 6th, but that's as close as they would get. A key double play on a bunt attempt here in the top half of the 7th inning, turned by Austin Dondenville to the shortstop Scott Jarvis and on to first. That completes the scoring. Victoria 2 errors, but they get 6 hits and 3 runs, while the Walla Sweets post 5 hits and 2 runs. They lose both games of the doubleheader by a run apiece, and watch the HarbourCats begin to reel in that wild card position. 13 games left on the schedule. The HarbourCats also gain room on the Yakima Valley Pippins, who lose tonight. And Victoria has a chance for a pivotal series sweep tomorrow afternoon, a 1:05 start here at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. Jay Longpre will have the call for that one if you can't be here in person. Should be a good ball game, and it should be a fun trip down the stretch for Victoria baseball fans. But today the HarbourCats win a pair over the Walla Sweets in dramatic fashion in front of a Saturday doubleheader crowd. For Kevin Patnott, who's been working stats here in the booth tonight, Chris Jaycox and the crew who've been working video for Eclipse Pictures and Go Live broadcasts, thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Mike Walker. Game 3 of the set tomorrow at 1:05.